Good morning and welcome to the HL7 Open Source Tooling Series. Today, we welcome Nikolai Ryzhikov, who is the Chief Technology Officer for Health Samurai, part of the FHIR Management Group, and an integral part of the FHIR community. He's going to share with you the FHIR Schema preview. So welcome, Nikolai.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. So thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. And let's start. Yeah, so let me check that I can switch the slides. So yeah, so this is kind of unusual talk. So this is not like well-established open source project. This is just a preview of the new project, but I think it is very important because I'm personally believe in this project, and I will try to convince you why. So a few words about me. I'm CTO of Health Samurai and a passionate member of FHIR community almost since the beginning. I did a few contributions like Firebase, FHIRPath, especially I worked on FHIRPath JS initial implementation. Okay, and maybe I can show you quickly. Yeah, so here is a repository. There's a link to this repo, and you're welcome to create issues or contribute. It should be straightforward. Here is a documentation for FHIR Schema where we describe the validation algorithm, and describe the keywords. And here, for example, US core patient in FHIR Schema step-by-step guide. And here is a validator, so when you can run online validation. I'm lazy enough. I don't know. Maybe let's take US core patient and validate it. Okay, now let's break. I don't know. So what validation we have? Now let's break extension. Oh, here it is. So what's nice that this implementation just load the packages and profiles on fly from all available public packages. So, but this is like our internal implementation, and we want to implement like open source sandbox for JavaScript implementation. So the link to this sandbox is in slides, so you can play with it. So you can play with the different schemas. You just have to load this. So you can load structure definition, and the internal converter will convert the structure definition into FHIR schema. Yeah, so here you can probably use, like here you see what packages are loaded into the context when you're validating your resources. Okay, so there's a channel in the Zulip for the FHIR schema, and I think that we can consider this as a main communication channel. So the GitHub repo and the FHIR schema, and I think that's it. So I'm ready to answer the questions. I was too fast, yeah? Sorry. Okay, let's go from the bottom. I don't think, yeah, so Sandy, sorry.
No, I was just making sure you could see the questions. They're in there.
Yeah. So there's a joke about FHIRMatron. So we don't need schematron, yes, because the schematron is needed for XML stuff because they doesn't have like XPath and XQuery built in, and some rules could not be expressed. FHIR schema do support constraints through FHIRPath, and it is even now implemented in JavaScript implementation. So we don't need schematron. Okay, where can you find the FHIR? Okay, where can I find the FHIR schema resources? Which URL or link at them? So the FHIR schema resource essentially is a transformation of structure definition. So we just fixed the specification, so it is like pure transformation. So you can transform the structure definition on fly, or you can transform and cache it. Or maybe you can write FHIR schema directly. But then we don't yet develop like backward converter from FHIR schema to structure definition. Yeah, so the question about the mortal guy who want to create profiles and validate instances against constraints. Yeah, it is definitely very hard. So I see the pain that people like when they writing profiles, especially with like open source tooling. It is really hard. It is nice tooling, but it is too much for like for modelers. What I see with the FHIR schema, I hope you will get like real-time validation engine, like real-time evaluation of your profiles against your stuff. As well, I believe we could build the visual builder for that, because it's becoming quite straightforward. So feel free to go and create an issue for us with like your pain points, and we will try to cover it in the FHIR schema. Okay, the question is a FHIRPath library for FHIR schema. Yes, because it is required if you want to validate constraints. So you may implement FHIR schema without FHIRPath constraints, but if you want to implement constraints keyword, then you need the FHIRPath library. But FHIRPath libraries is a little bit better implemented than FHIR validation. So we have them in different languages. So I'm personally contributed into JavaScript, and I know the Python guys just forked JavaScript and implemented it. So we have a C# and Java FHIRPath engine. So it's slightly better. And I hope that FHIR schema will make like implementation of FHIR validation much easier. To have IG validator support writing this. Yeah, that's what I believe. So we started as a community project, so there is no official label on this project, but I hope that the engineers and users will love it, and then we may start discussing, maybe make it some like kind of official, standardize it or include into IG publisher. So I'm especially believe that like integration with fish will bring FHIR schema to the life, because I see how people struggle with like compiling fish and running this. So, and we promise like instant validation by fish. Okay, so the terminology validation is definitely supported. There's a keyword which is called like binding. It is exactly like FHIR stuff. We do very nice trick to keep the validation pure, not calling external services. So when you run the validation, we return errors, and we call it like deferred or effects. So we returning which codes for which value sets should be checked. They have a shape of errors, and like on the second step, you can like go to a terminology server, or maybe you have like in memory index for this value set and check it. So the terminology validation will be part of reference implementation. Take a look at this, and yeah. Okay, what other questions? There was a question about what are keywords. So the keywords is a term which is coming from JSON schema. In JSON schema, the schema is an object which consists of keywords. Every keyword is a rule, validation rule, let's say min, max, or properties, stuff like this. So, and that's why we call every rule like elements, binding, constraints, keyword. So this is JSON schema terminology. Okay, you mentioned for this. We don't want to compete with the Forge and other guys, so this is a nice tools, but yeah, definitely, I hope, especially when we will have converter from FHIR Schema to structure definition, so you would be able to design profiles using FHIR Schema. Okay. Other questions? Maybe I missed some. Maybe I was too fast and you want like for me to explain specific part of my presentation. Yes, we do have a Git repository. The organization call it FHIR-Schema. So just in GitHub. There is a link in slides, and slides will be shared with you. Yes, feel free to join and ask us. And as well, there's a Zulip group chat, an official chat, fhir.chat.org. Yeah. Thank you. The current tool that was used in the demo configurable to point to a specific branch of FHIR. Sorry, I don't understand. Ali, if you can like elaborate on your question. And the guys shared the like a link to the playground. Yeah, so feel free to play with it. What are the different FHIR types used in JSON schema? Okay, yeah, Ali, can you like elaborate on your question?
Yes, thanks a lot for this work. This is amazing. I like it so much. So this is a great job, and I think it would make things very much easier. My question is about the tools that you currently that you have demonstrated during the presentation. We have the structure definitions, for example, in a specific branch of the main FHIR GitHub repo. Okay. For example, we have a branch from looker definition, and we have this kind of new resource or profiles that we need to be validated against using this kind of FHIR schema. Is the current tool configurable to point to this branch, or we need to upload the structure definitions one by one?
For now, this FHIR schema working as a part of 8box. 8box has multiple ways to import IGs. And while importing it is converting it to FHIR schema. So we on the way to like extracting this translator into open source, I think like a few weeks, and yeah, we will provide it as a part of the open source project. But for now, you can go and try to do it in 8box. So converting it to the FHIR schema, and then you can back to JavaScript implementation. Yeah, but yeah, we will definitely soon like provide this converter as a part of the reference implementation.
Sure. Just as a follow-up question to make sure that I understand this correctly. This will not be an implementation guide. It's just the core specifications that's under development on a branch.
It is gonna be like community specification of the algorithm, how to implement FHIR schema, yes, and the specification of the FHIR schema plus JavaScript reference implementation.
Thanks a lot.
For the ecosystem, so what contribution we expecting? I know we already talked to some Python guys, so maybe right after JavaScript implementation, we can try to implement this in Python. And if you like want to implement in your language, please contact us and we can like help you and guideline you how to implement FHIR schema using your language of your choice.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the question. Okay, so what are different FHIR types used in JSON schema? Okay, so this is not JSON schema, especially because of like primitive types. They don't match a lot with the FHIR primitive types. So the FHIR schema do support like original FHIR primitive types. Okay, general advance the approach and use of photos. Okay, thank you. Just a compliment.
Thanks for sharing and you all participating. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss the next one.